talk.
All right, guys, we're going to start. Sit down. They didn't want us to bring a sound system, so we have to just stay real quiet so that we can hear all the presenters. I just want to remind everybody that there will be no disrespect, no talking over anyone, no disruption. You'll be asked to please handle that. It's an educational meeting. It's for everybody to find the facts. This is not a debate. This is not a discussion. So there are cards on your table. So with pens, if anybody wants to ask questions, we're going to have about a 40-minute question and answer session at the end with all the representatives. So please, if you think of any as you hear them speaking, write them down. We'll collect them and then we will ask them at the end. So let's get started. Oh, and sorry, this is Carlos McDermott. He is the president of Central Ohio Remaining Minutes, and the vice president. And then we have Jeff Selfridge. He is our secretary. So just so you know who everybody is. All right. Rob,
Can we have the bar turn down the sound?
yeah, I'll go ask him. Rob, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Robert Ryan. I'm the president of Ohio NORML. So thank you all for coming out. And I'd like to especially thank Central Ohio NORML, okay, for putting this on. And she's not here. Oh, but here's the engine, the motor that made this happen. So let's give Heather a big Okay, tonight's focus is on legalization. What I'm going to talk about is something a little bit different. It's something that's right here, right now, not 9 months from now, okay? It's about the driver's license suspension. And I hope you all get a little pamphlet at your table, or if not, pick one up, please, okay? Because it's got some history on it, and what the law is, and taking some action, okay? A little bit of history, okay? In 1992, a very liberal senator from New Jersey introduced a bit of code into the highway transportation funds because he was in a fight with a conservative and he wanted to prove how tough he was on the war on drugs. So he introduced a bit of legislation that affected all of the United States, and it said, essentially, we will take away a significant portion of your highway transportation funds if you don't comply with this federal mandate in taking people's licenses away for any offense, even down to a seed or a marijuana joint, okay, for 6 months up to 5 years. At that point in time, the western states rebelled. They said, essentially, blank, blank, blank you, New Jersey and Senator, okay? And they put into what in current law is an opt-out clause. And if you look at your little pamphlet here, there's a map of the United States, okay? And essentially, if you look at the gray portion, those are the states that don't have that law anymore, okay? And here in Ohio, okay, I was working with Senator Seitz. He's the guy that made marijuana paraphernalia go away, so it's a non-arrestable offense, okay? I don't know if anybody's been affected by that, but they essentially, oh, there's one, okay, I'm sure there's a couple more, okay? But currently, under state law, you shall lose your license. And some people have been affected significantly by that, not only by 6 months, but up to 18. We have a member who is 18 months, and just because he didn't like them, because he fought the case, okay? Let me put my little glasses on here, okay? So, phase 1 of the project was done. That is the resolution which is passed. And on your pamphlet, you can actually read the resolution through the tiny URL. Phase 2 is happening right now. So if you're an OTEPer, or if you're a responsible Ohioan, or if you're an org person, this is irrelevant and should command some of your attention right now. Because in the Legislative Service Commission, the judges have introduced language that simply changes the words shall suspend to may suspend. And that is simply ripe with all sorts of bad things. Okay? If you don't like, you got nose rings, or if you're the wrong color skin, or if you're the wrong sexual orientation, or if you're white or black, depending on what the judge's preference is, or if the judge didn't get any nookie the night before. So, right now, it's in the Legislative Service Commission, and the way laws work, okay, is 90% of the law is written in before it even gets out to a hearing. So the time to act is now. And on the back of your pamphlet, I gave some tools that you can go to the Ohio State and find your legislators, or you go to the NORML tool and you find all your legislators from Obama down to your city council by putting in your zip code +4. And I would highly encourage you to take action now. You know, all this conversation tonight is going to be about something that may happen. May happen. This is happening. So thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce Mary Jane Gordon and John Pardee with the Ohio Rights Group.
Hi, I'm here to talk about the Ohio Campus Rights Amendment. First of all, I'd like to ask.
Can you speak up?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to know, show of hands, how many people collected signatures for the Ohio Campus Rights Amendment? Raise your hands. Look at this crowd here. Look at this crowd here. I stand here tonight on your shoulders, and I want to thank you for that, because you were responsible for collecting 150,000 estimated signatures for an amendment that says we have the rights to use cannabis as medicine. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad to be one of your representatives, if you will, because I'm a member of the committee to represent the petitioners for the amendment. Now, the amendment stands for, as I said, rights. It's the Ohio Cannabis Rights Amendment for a reason, because we could see going into this, when we started to write it, that cannabis has become a civil rights issue. Too many parents are losing custody of their children. Too many children are not able to go to college because they lose their scholarships. And too many mothers, as I said, they're losing their children, as I said. It's distracted by what's going on here. What I'm trying to say, that was the idea behind what we want to write into the Ohio Constitution. The Ohio Cannabis Rights Amendment essentially comes in two parts. It's very short, 1,852 words. It does two things. First of all, it codifies the rights to use. The word using cannabis is very important to this argument, because it's one thing to be able to possess it. It's one thing even to be able to sell it, to be able to use it, to be able to have it in your body. In the case of, let's say, industrial hemp, you can have a mountain of cannabis, but if you don't have the right to use it, make things out of it, it's all the rest is moot. All right? So the first thing we do in the Ohio Cannabis Rights Amendment is we codify the 7 rights, as I say, based upon the use of cannabis for medical, therapeutic, and industrial purposes. The second thing we do in the amendment, 2 things we do, as I said, is to establish an Ohio Commission of Cannabis Control. And the idea here behind our commission is that it's a commission that will act in the public interest. It will support, uphold, and defend the rights that are named in the amendment. And it says that in context of the 9th and 10th Amendments to the United States Constitution. So this is a commission that we're establishing that's going to be responsive to the people. They're only, for example, be able to be no more than, 2 parties. 3 parties, or whatever. So in any way, you can have as many as 3 parties represented on the commission board. So what I'm trying to say is this is a commission board that is going to be responsive to the people and responsive to what we're all about here in this room, the medical, therapeutic, industrial uses of cannabis. And so the thing I want to say, I guess I could turn this over to John to talk about the Ohio Rights Group. I'll cover the amendment. But John, if you'd like to cover before and tell them about how we feel that we're the people to carry this amendment to the next level and place it on the Ohio Constitution, just talk a little bit about the board.
Thanks, MJ. Yeah, you guys obviously are here tonight because you're very passionate about trying to get reform here in Ohio. I don't think anybody in here wants to keep the existing system of prohibition in place. There is so much renewed interest in Ohio now. We have a multitude of efforts that are trying to bring about this change. And the Ohio Rights Group has been here for 2 years, over 2 years, working our butts off to try to make this thing happen in Ohio. And like MJ said, we've come a long way down that road. But you know what? We did some things very well. We did some things not so well. But we are working every day to try to improve our organization. And you, as the citizens of the state of Ohio, need to make sure that when we do this right. We don't do this, fast or out of expedience. Let's make sure that we do it right so every Ohioan has an opportunity to benefit in the cannabis economy. So you're going to hear a lot of proposals tonight. It's important that, as in the weeks and months going forward, that you take the time to look at every proposal. I want you guys to take a second look at the Ohio Rights Group. I think we've come out of what we've been through in the last couple of years. We've become stronger, we've become bigger, we've become smarter, and we're starting to get some attention to some national players. So I'm hoping you guys give us a second look. But everybody else that's coming along, do what you've done to us. Kick the tires, ask the hard questions, make sure that we go forward in Ohio with an amendment that's going to get the job done, that's going to expand your rights, expand all the economic opportunities that can be available to every Ohioan. So I'm excited to be part of this, and I'm excited to be part of the Ohio Rights Group. I'm hoping that you guys support what we're trying to do. I think it's the right thing for Ohio. It's my job and our job to make sure that you guys feel the same way. And you know what? Ohio's a smart state. We picked every president since I can remember, and you guys, if you do your job and vet these opportunities, we're going to come out on top. So I thank you for the opportunity to be part of this movement. The last 2 years have been some of the highest honors I've ever had here working with all of you. A lot of you guys that were with the Ohio Rights Group before, I'd love to have you come back and take a second look because I think we're going to get the job done. Thank you guys, really appreciate it.
Do we have any representatives here from Responsible Ohioans for Cannabis?
Right here.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't see you. Hi, guys. This is Don McAdams. He's the president and founder of Responsible Ohioans for Cannabis.
I'm not here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Don McAdams. I'm one of the founders of Responsible Ohioans for Cannabis. Our amendment is among the most liberal of the proposals that are here today. It would allow everyone to grow their own cannabis or start their own business with protections for their property rights, parental rights, gun rights. There would be strict limitations on how much licensing fees and sales taxes would be the only sales taxes that would be applicable. We have about 2,000 signatures of the 1,000 that we need to submit. We do plan on submitting those this Thursday.
Talk a little bit. Sorry.
A lot of people think that if we need a more conservative approach, then we will have those options over here. I believe that, when I worked with the Alternative Treatment Amendment, we actually petitioned for theirs, the Ohio Rights Group and the Ohio Cannabis Prohibition Act, our amendment together at several of the past events. And it was really successful. And from what we had seen, a lot of people really wanted to see full legalization. And we've been working this for a couple of years, and when our first summary was rejected, the Ohio Rights Group gained a lot of momentum, and they've done great work for Ohio. We applaud their efforts. But we think Ohio's ready for to have their choice, which one they want, full legalization or medical restrictions, stricter limitations. Because bottom line is, it doesn't really cause any negative harms. For the most part, it's not life-threatening at all. We're seeing nothing but positive results out of Colorado. And bottom line is, everybody else says that if you want to get rid of the black market, that you have to have the strict regulations in place. And really, if you want to get rid of the black market, then you have to compete with the black market, so that it's no longer profitable to have a black market. And the best way to do that is to just allow everybody to grow their own, and if you're going to end up selling it to dispensaries or selling mass amounts of it, then you have to have your corporate license to do so. We think that is a very responsible approach. I don't know if there's any questions, or if Tanya wants to say anything. You can come up here too. This amendment actually would allow full access for everybody, so any patients that would need to purchase any medicines they would need, like Tanya, who's been working this for over a decade with us. So, yeah, go ahead.
You guys, I want us to applaud Donnie because it's really taken guts. Okay, this is my take on our initiative. I can yell.
Thank you.
I have been yelling for a decade. It's all good. I know how. I take from this initiative freedom. Freedom to make the choice. You know, when I first got in this movement, it was strictly medicinal. I quickly learned, because prohibition hit me hard. Not the medical end of it. They didn't give a rat's ass about that. What they cared about was taking my grandchild over this drug war. And so I saw the different side to it. You guys woke me up. Prohibition woke me up. There is no reason to lock anyone up or take a family member because you make a choice. You know, I am not saying, in our amendment it says you can grow to 99 plants. I'm not saying go out and grow 99 plants. You know, our law enforcement have enough common sense to know if someone is really breaking the law or not.
Well, and also you would have to own the property or have the owner's permission in order to grow. A lot of situations, the landlord may say, you know, you're only allowed to grow 6 or 12 plants, and if that's in the lease agreement, that's all you'd be allowed to grow there. So, you know, we didn't want to make it automatic just across the board. It's, you know, so they can prove that it really, you know, impacts society negatively. There's just no need for all the unnecessary restrictions and taxes, and you know, once you raise the price by doing that, you're just encouraging the black market to sustain itself.
And you know what? It's so stupid to make a plant illegal that has never killed anyone. In conjunction with, see, this is what they tell you in the news. They'll say, so-and-so was killed and they had marijuana in their system. They're not saying they have alcohol or they have pills or they have cocaine or heroin or methamphetamine. You know, methamphetamine and heroin are taking our families from us. That should be enough. Prohibition should. And without prohibition, they're not going to make all that money that they're going to try to make. You know, I trust my law enforcement. Call me crazy. 99% of them, I'm looking at Carlos. I trust our law enforcement because they know who I am. If I'm going to sit out there like Cheech and Chong, and you're just going to have to shut me up when it's done because I've got a lot to say. Okay?
3 minutes.
If I'm going to sit out in my yard and disrespect it, I deserve anything I get. I'm going to tell you all a little story. My law enforcement had fun with me. And they thought it was funny. I didn't find it interesting. Anyway, I'm on 700 WLW. And I said, Scott Sloan says, Tanya, aren't you worried that they're going to catch you? You're being so open about it. So I go, my nut ass. I go, well, the only way they're going to catch me is if they're in my backyard looking in my bedroom. Okay? So a couple days later, I've got my blinds open. What do I see? Bicycle catering cop laughing his ass off driving by. Okay, so they wanted to let me know that they know, but they want us to respect it. Now, we're not saying go down the road and drive and be irresponsible and be like Cheech and Chong out the window. I'm saying show respect. And we have to show respect with all of our groups. I really do.
With the summary submission next week, we do have, once the summary is approved, we do have a couple of financial backers that are willing to help us line up a successful signature drive to get on the 2016 ballot.
And what was said,
A big part of that.
and what was their term, and I loved it. They said, you'll have as much coin as you need.
Yeah, that's something I'm calling it. They weren't mine. But yeah, I mean, really, signature drive, successful signature drive would involve many different counties, state county fairs, a lot of different music events. We've got a couple different people in key places in like different genres in Ohio that are real big event organizers. So I think we've got what it takes to actually put this together. We have set up already. So
We just really ask for your support. You know, it's all or nothing now. And that's where I'm at. I begged them for 10 years myself. And for whatever reason, it was stopped. But anyway, go to legalaslettuce.com.
legal as lettuce.
It should be just like tomatoes. Just like
Well,
lettuce.
it would set up to where sales taxes, even if somebody's growing their own and selling it, they'd still, after $400, they would have to collect and pay sales taxes, just like they would on any other income in Ohio, even if they were growing their own alcohol, or growing their own alcohol, sorry. And then after 5,800, it becomes necessary to meet your corporate license for it. So that's just about the same as alcohol. So everybody says treat like alcohol. That's basically the plan that we put together.
Freedom and free market. Let me re-quote that. Free market.
All right, next up we have OTEP. It's the Ohio Instant Prohibition. It is Sri Kavaroo. I said that correctly. Thank you. The president and co-founder, and Jacob Wagner, the vice president and co-founder. And Michael Rivercombe Hickman, he is the political director.
I'm Karen, nice to meet you.
Have some technical difficulties. Excuse us for a second. There we go.
If we did, I don't remember.
Don't remember that it's okay, right? Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
Oh, I was gonna give it a couple minutes. Let's just let it run off my battery. Alright, I'll edit out this stuff in post.
Oh, that's right. Hold on, sorry guys.
Sorry, we're not trying to get everybody behind.
Tick, 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 tick.
Wait, no, what's the clock started? Yes.
Of course, he turns away right as I do it. It's Apple.
You ready?
Ready? Go.
Okay, so I'm Sri. I'm the president of OTEP. A little bit about myself. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I went to school at the University of Cincinnati. I studied political science, and after college I worked for Mark Mallory, who was the mayor of Cincinnati. Then I worked on a lot of different races, city council and stuff. And then I worked on the Obama campaign in 2008 as a fundraiser for from the South Asian community. I moved to California to work for Americans for Safe Access, and then after that I worked for Nation Builder. A lot of people might be familiar with it. It's a political technology firm. And while I was there, I had managed some of their biggest accounts: Cory Booker, the UK Labour Party, Americans for Safe Access, the California 2016 campaign, Maryland NORML, Parents for Pot, just a lot of different groups. I left Nation Builder a year ago to take a job at the ArcView Group, the largest accredited investor network in the marijuana industry. I reported directly to Troy Dayton and Steve D'Angelo, and I managed a network of over 300 investors. I left ArcView back in December when we decided to launch OTEP and move forward. Jake?
Hi, yeah, my name is Jacob Wagner. I'm the vice president, co-founder of OTEP, also the treasurer and the author of the Cannabis Control Amendment, which is our approach to legalization here in Ohio. I am an attorney and MBA. I attended Case Western Reserve University for law school and my MBA.